Hi there, Jared Mann, bringing you my latest Perth property market update, where I'll go into the sale market and the rental market as it sits in February right now. Coming into the start of this year, the market's really tightened up, and I was getting a bit worried at Christmas last year, Christmas 2013. We were heading up to 9,500 odd listings, and it was looking like the market was starting to head back to more of a neutral market. There was a bit of a slowdown in the mining sector, and we seem to have gotten over that, certainly for the short term, and things have really tightened up coming into the start of this year. The number of sales has lifted right back up to the highest number of sales we were getting in 2013 per week, and that's clearing stock off the market. A lot of people who hadn't achieved a sale leading up to Christmas probably reassessed their plans and have come off the market, and there's really no place for anything to be on the market for more than 2 to 3 weeks now in this seller's market that's turning over very quickly. What I saw for all of last year, for those that didn't get a Perth-wide perspective, the inner Perth market was finishing off its growth cycle, and that's now going to return to more of a neutral market this year. That was affected a lot more by the changing mining economy, and our middle ring suburbs were the stars last year with good growth in the 5 to 12 kilometre radius, and that growth's now starting to ripple out. So the middle to outer suburbs is where I expect the growth to be this year, and while the middle ring suburbs will still keep ticking along, the outer suburbs always tend to grow with more of an upswing sharp pattern, so they'll get 6, 12, maybe 18 months of growth, and then they'll have had their spurt and go back to neutral market, and I expect that to coincide with when interest rates starts coming back up again. Now, what is influencing those middle to outer suburbs to grow? Well, we had our change in the first time owners grant, increasing from $7,000 up to $10,000 for new, and where a property's priced at less than $500,000, and most of those are in the middle to outer suburbs, that's kicking along to compound where we're at in the cycle. So I'm certainly seeing all my suburb prediction reports for the outer land estates being very favourable and positive for this year. And it really just depends, if you've got existing property in there, expect to get some growth. If you're looking to buy a new property and you're open to house and land packages, now's an excellent time to look at it. Try to combine that with where the most infrastructure is going in. I've got a couple of suburbs that I've got my eye on where there's a new train station, new infrastructure, Woolworths, etc. Message me if you're looking at making a purchase in that kind of with that kind of strategy. So, looking at the rental market, what's actually come up in our stats now is what we knew 2 to 3 months ago, and that's that the market was softening. We're up at 3.2% vacancy. To give you an idea, at the start of last year we were at 1.9, so we've really softened. It's nothing to worry about, but it is just taking 2 weeks on average to lease a property now. So when we've got an existing tenant in there, we need to get our act together well and truly before their lease comes to an end. And for anyone that's placing a tenant for the first time, allow that 2 weeks to get a quality one. So with the median rent as well, what we've seen is that's gradually been dropping from our height of $480 per week. We're now back down to $460, so that'll be some good news for tenants. And what we've got with the number for rent, now this is a new stat that I'm introducing into my updates. You can see that gradually from September onwards, the number for rent have been increasing. We're just up at just over 5,000 now. So with that trend going the way it is, I expect that our median rent's going to continue to lower, and our rental vacancy will continue to edge up slightly month on month until we see this number for rent pull back. Now, it was difficult to find tenants over Christmas, January, but everyone seems to be back from holidays now, settling into a new year, and we're able to keep that leasing time down to less than 2 weeks. Thanks for listening to my Perth property update. Hope you've gained a bit of insight into where we're at. And if you want some specific advice on your situation, make sure you give us an email. Only too happy to help.